Hello there, and welcome to the Black Lodge. It's me, David, at Drinks Whiskey, of course. It's Saturday Night Drams, and I hope you are all keeping very well. It's October, it's spooky season, and it's whiskey season, and it's in full swing, and I'm delighted to be joining you all this evening. Now, we've already got a lot of people in the chat. I've clocked already. Glenn has been first in. Welcome, Glenn. Hope you're keeping well, mate. Not long until you're over on this fair isle. Glenn joins us all the way from, I believe, North Carolina. Mental. Unbelievable. Tobias, great to have you in. Sir, Tony, brilliant making dinner, so we'll be in listen mode mostly. Don't you worry. We'll hopefully keep the chat coming and give you plenty to talk about. Thomas Jones is joining. Hello, everyone. Just poured a glass of Bushmills 10. Fantastic. And on that note, I'll raise my glass to you all and say welcome. And it's been a wee while. It's been a few weeks. I have been on my holidays with the family. We were in the wonderful Isle of Crete. Perfect weather for once. Just solid 24 on sunshine every day. We'll take it. And then came back, and everybody in London anyway was wrapped up as if it was the Arctic cold, and it was a chilly 18 degrees here. I don't know what that is in American temperatures, but I'm sure you can convert it courtesy of Google. Who else we got in? We got Codger. Evening all. Good to have you, Codger. I'm surprised. I thought maybe not out and about the day this evening, Codger, in Edinburgh or anything like that. Am I wrong? Am I right? Again? I can't even remember. I'm a wee bit dusty. Derek's in. Derek, great to see you, mate. I hope you're keeping well. Good to see all the familiar names in this evening. And if you're not familiar, please jump in the chat. Really, really great community in here on a Saturday night. Got Dutch Jura joins us. Good evening. Dutch Jura. Got the Living Souls Thompson Brothers Club in the glass. It's delicious, and it is. If you've not had it yet, if you like Lecheg and you like the BSW Thompson Brothers, mix the two together. It's really not hard to not like, although I'm sure there's a couple of people I can think of that may be joining us in the chat that will not enjoy a dram like that. Tom, wonderful to have you in, mate. Welcome. Codger saying on the Deanston 12 tonight. No, I had it for a while and forgot how good it is. Evening, David. Codger, I agree. I love a Deanston 12. I've got that Thompson Brothers independent Deanston behind me. I nearly picked for the drams this evening the Cadenheads Deanston that I picked up a while ago, and I also managed to pick up a bargain where there's the Virgin Oak Cask Strength. I think it was on Amazon, not during Prime, but a couple of weeks ago, for like 30 odd quid, and I nearly cracked that on tonight. So I might have to jump behind the bar and change my dram selection to join you on that one. John, wonderful to have you in, mate. Good to see you. Fraser's in. Evening all. Roy, watching for the sofa. Welcome, Roy. Glad to have you in. Rafe. Fantastic. We've got a good selection this evening, guys. Everybody's ready to go. It's the time of year. Everybody's buzzing for it, aren't they? Absolutely buzzing. Let me get some music on the go as well, because I've just noticed we've not hit play on that. Now, in the glass this evening, for me, to kick off, I had to bottle kill, and you can probably see it behind me, which is over, just there. It was a Stagg, bottle of Stagg Bourbon that I had I used it all through March Dram Madness, and I only had a wee bit left. But this evening's drams, the reason I went to that one is this evening's drams, we have on the table, we've got another bottle of Stagg coming in at 65.5%. You know, like, not coming in easy at all. Let me just check. Yep. Not coming easy at all with that, but I have a charity tasting on Thursday that I do yearly, and one of the mystery drams, it's a blind tasting this year, 7 drams, one of them will be that bottle of Stagg, so I want to crack it open and get a wee pour out it before moving on. You might notice a wee bit of a theme. There's a few bottles here that may be coming up in the chat later on about the OSWAs. I've got the Old Forester 1920 Prohibition Style, which sadly is quite hard to come by over here in the States. Very easy. It's my go-to bottle when people ask me if they're in the States, or they're visiting and they want to grab a bottle for me. It's fantastic, and the value, I think it's like $60 in dollars, so you're talking like 50 quid. It's great. We have, of course, one of the Thompson Brothers mystery malts, batch 3. This is, if you follow me on Instagram, you've just seen what it is. I'm not going to spoil it. I will spoil it. It's a Glasgow 4-year-old. Fantastic. And it's only getting better since I've opened it last week. Kilkerran Bourbon Cask. I just really fancied it tonight. And then the little one there that you can see is, of course, it's the Key 1 Unicorn that I picked up at the whiskey show last week from the engineer, the distiller of sorts at Key 1. He gave me a little gift pack because of my big affinity with Korea, having lived there. So they're the drams that will be getting poured this evening, but in the meantime I am bottle killing the last of that, and I'll be bottle killing that Old Forester sadly, but it's got to be done. Let's jump back to the chat. We've got Billy in. Great to have you in, mate. Fantastic seeing yous all. Rob Smith's in. Saturday Night Dramas. We've got, who else is coming in? James Wright's in. Canadian Thanksgiving here. It's currently up to my elbows in Brussels sprouts. Fantastic. How do you do your Brussels sprouts, James? I do the honey balsamic thing, and then I just mess about with them, and somehow I'd managed to pull it off. I'm not quite sure the method, but it's like my wife, like, she only likes the ones I make. I think it's because I take the task on, to be fair. James Morgan, wonderful to have you in, mate. Hope you're keeping well. Highland Hamish, mate, don't apologise at all. Sorry I've missed the last few vids. You are a very busy man. I have seen you here, there and everywhere on the Instagram. It seems like business is booming. You need to keep us updated in the chat of some of the bottles that you've been popping, because from the photos it looks fantastic. What's we got going on here? We have Danny Keenan's in. Danny, great to have you in tonight. Andy T, he's joining us. Good evening. Just opened a Deanston 17-year-old Palo Catardo that I picked up while I was there last month. Was that one of the hand pours, Andy? A lot of us on a Deanston tip tonight. Even though I'm saying a lot of us, I should have picked. I'm going to jump behind and probably grab the Deanston later on and pour it. I knew I should have opened it. Billy saying, nice selection for the evening, David. Just a Glenmorangie 10 in the glass here for now. Cheers. Brilliant. 10's no more as well. Enjoy it while you can. The 12. I had my usual pre-stream palate cleansing Glenmo 12 just to check everything's in working order. Getting it moving. God, you're saying nice lineup as well, and I tried the Kilkerran out of those. I think when we come on to the OSWA chat later on tonight, we'll be mentioning the Stagg and stuff, because it was great to see that called out. Mike, hey David and everyone, out and about with limited access, mostly listening, but looking forward to the chat. Cheers. No worries, Mike. We will try our best to keep the chat moving and keep it as educational and as fun as possible. Educational. When's it ever educational? We learn that I make a mess of things. That's what we do. James Wright, we roast them with bacon strips and finish them off with maple syrup and pecan. Of course you do. Canada. Brilliant. James, I've got a few questions for you about the old Canadian scene as well, because I'm noticing, I've seen some news about Crown Royal shutting and the impact that's going to have in Diageo products in Canada and that, so you'll need to be our man on the ground there and let me know. Tom saying, clearly I need to get more familiar with Deanston. Try to get the wee one off to sleep so I can pour my first dram. Tom, do what you have to. Was there this evening and my daughter decided that she wanted my wife instead, and so I managed to tap out but then do washing duty instead. Glamorous life that we all lead. Aye, so that's the welcomes. That's a wee bit of housekeeping. Housekeeping as usual. When I normally go to the drams, as I say to you guys, let us know in the chat what's in your glass. It's a sociable, fun time, Saturday Night Drams. I've missed doing it. I really, really enjoy it. There was the opportunity slightly to go up to Glasgow this weekend, visit some family and take the wee one, and it would have been a lot of jiggery pokery, especially because I'm going up in November. And then I was like, no, I've got the show. I've committed to the show, and I was really looking forward to doing this. But doesn't mean that family took a back seat, because you will see the news segment this week. So if you're new to the show or first time watcher, or as you know, if you've watched it before, we have a news segment with David in the field. He's normally in the woods. And today went a bit you'll see when it comes. So I've edited it exactly how it felt like at the time. So it's been a good bit of fun. But in the meantime, since I've been away, while on holiday, I managed to get a bit of editing done. Managed to get the video up for the 24-hour kind of booze cruise trip to Bruges. That last minute got offered hospitality tickets to go to the Champions League playoff second leg. Historical match for the wrong reasons, but it meant I could drive from here to Bruges for the first time via the Eurotunnel. If you've not checked out the video, please go to the channel and watch it. It's really interesting. I've never done the Eurotunnel. Me and my brother were blown away. It's the strangest, fastest thing. 24 minutes. 1 minute you're in England, then you're in France, and then you just drive off the train and you're just in a straight road to Bruges. Not much whiskey, really, in Bruges, as you can imagine, but did stop off at Cali Bean, one of the famous wine, spirits, duty-free superstores, and it was quite interesting to see what they had. A lot of bottles from one bottler that I was quite shocked by. I'm not quite sure what's going on with it. Nothing too cheap, but it was just quite interesting to see. So if you've not watched it, please check that out. Of course, the Highland Adventure, the Great North Run, as I'm calling it, because it was a run north and back. The feedback on that video has been fantastic. It's doing really well for me and my scheme of videos. It was a lot. It took a long time to edit, and part 2 is taking a long time to edit, but as you guys watching and tuning in know, it's better to put the effort in. I'd rather put something out that is making me happy than just rush it. But part 2 is great. It's in Craigellachie. Like, it's hard to go wrong. Although I did discover while editing it, somehow I think I formatted the SD card with all my photos on it, which is annoying. Because there's a segment where I go and take photos, and I was really excited about the photos. I was going to print one out and put it in a cabin in Black Lodge, and it just never happened. So that edit is ongoing at the moment. For me or no for me, there's a couple of those to come, and then of course there's the whiskey show, which we'll come on to, where I had a bit of a haphazard, a wee bit of an accident with one of the pieces of equipment, but still managed to record a lot of things. How much of that I'm going to be able to use, I am not sure, and I'm kind of dreading watching it through. I have a feeling that the whiskey show video might be a double header with Glasgow Whisky Festival again, just to make it a bit more padded rather than just fling content out for the sake of it. So that's a bit of the housekeeping. Tonight's theme, as you would have seen from the thumbnail, is about whiskey shows. And the reason I bring it up is because in the past we've had conversations in here with some of the viewers that they've never been to a whiskey show, or whiskey shows don't excite them. And having spoke to a few other creators in this space, YouTube videos about whiskey shows don't seem to be particularly popular. And I can understand why, because on the day of when you're filming it, you're torn because you're trying to enjoy yourself, but then you're like, oh, should I be videoing this? And then you're putting a camera in people's faces, and it's busy, and it's a wee bit not intrusive, but it just feels a wee bit funny. But more from just in general, do you enjoy a whiskey show? Do people get bang for their buck? Because this year the whiskey show was expensive. So we're going to talk about that. We are going to talk about the OSWAs, of course, the Online Scotch Whisky Awards. that nominations came out last week while I was at the show. So that was nice to wake up on Sunday morning and have a look through and see what came through. I'm not going to reveal on here what I nominated myself and what I'm going to be voting for, which is a handy wee link. People that will find out are on the Patreon, and as always we do a wee shout out to the Patreons. Massive appreciation. It is thanks to them that I have that wonderful bottle of Thompson Brothers Mystery Malt, and they are the community in there is fantastic. We've got a great wee sounding board, chatting away, drop things, and everybody's kind of, it's small but it's fun. And I'm sending out, I've had to message some of them because they hit their tier, and the reward I'm sending out this week, the Drams on the Run booklet that some of you will have, the zine. This is edition number 1. Edition number 2 is getting worked on currently, which is Glasgow, Edinburgh. Spoilers. But this is a guide to the London whisky scene, seen through my eyes, but through a few insiders who work in whisky and who reside in London. Feedback's been great on it, but it is a Patreon exclusive. A few people have got it who aren't patrons, but that work in whisky, but normally they feature in it, so that's why I gave them out. But they're going out on Monday. I was trying to get them out today, but I never got all the addresses in time, so they will be going out. But yeah, massive shout out to them. Without this, can't really. It just motivates. It helps massively. So the tiers are what they are. I'm not asking if you join or whatever, absolutely fair, but it does massively help out, and you'll notice that trend amongst the whisky community. There is YouTube stuff, memberships and that. To be honest, it's a lot of jiggery pokery and I don't have the time for it. I've had one person sign up in the memberships, and then I hope they've cancelled, because Google like to take a big fat slice of that. Of course they do. Now I'm going to go back to the comments and see what else has been going on while I rattle on. You can probably tell the excitement in my voice. It's been so long since I've done this. Right, Rob Smith. Rob is on. He is going to start with a Glen Scotia 15. Fantastic. Good shout. Decent deal at the moment as well on them. I've seen a few of them on offer. Good to pick up. And James is saying, anyone excited for the 2025 Milkotor Turbo release? I love the 2024 release. I tried it. I've tried it recently, James. It is really good. It's Milkotor. It's heavily peated. They did a single cask of it, and it was like a week after I was up there in the summer, and I overheard them talking about it in the shop, about the cask being out. I think that's a release I think is only going to get better as time goes on, so it'd be great to hear people's thoughts if they thought the 2024 or 2025 was better if they've had both. Codger's saying, sprouts should be boiled for at least 2 days solid, as is the tradition. Yep, make them as mushy and as tasteless and as bitter as you can. Otherwise, where's the joy? Where is the joy in that? Lowlanders in, great to have you in, mate. Welcome. I'm surprised, I thought you would have been at Edinburgh Whisky Festival, and if you were, do fill us in on how it was. I saw some Instagram stories of people there. It seemed to be quite popular today. It's a festival I've never been to. Kind of the timing of it falls in between Glasgow and London, and I'm always going to go to those two if I can. John, tonight's dram is the Heartcut Locklear Single Cask Exiler. Yeah, huge praise on that last week from the people that tried. I tried to get a dram of the Heartcut. I tried 3 times, and the first time the stand was full and they're talking to people, and you're kind of like, I don't want to just stick a hand in and get a dram. And then the second time I came back and they were talking to people, same thing again. And then the third time, and every the stand was full, they were still talking to people, and I was like, I'll move on. And it's a regret of mine, because everybody that had some loved it, and they were doing wee kind of Hoff and Hoff style things with boutique beers and stuff like that. So it was, oh, excuse me, wee bloody gnat in here. So yeah, I'm sure it's delicious. The Thompson whiskey one as well from New Zealand is apparently phenomenal. Mike B just did the train from London to Paris for Whisky Live Paris. Such a great service. Yeah, are you talking about the Eurostar as well? Top tip for anyone on the West Coast line, or London to Paris. Do you know there's a last minute service, and last minute's like a week or two out, and it's like 30 quid, 45 quid a ticket, one way. You can do it with a Vanti, it's called Superfair or something like that, up to Glasgow. They sell out quite quick when they go up, but on Eurostar as well, they have it. So if you ever just fancy nipping over. Mike, any highlights of the show? Do let us know. Julian, a little late in, good to be back in the Black Lodge. Me too, mate. It is good to be back. I had to set everything up and get the place all tidied. There's a bit of chaos going around in here at the moment, but as long as it looks normal behind me, then we're all happy. I've got a wee bit of a problem with the shelves in that I'd cleared out some bottles and then I've bought some recently. So I need to sort that out. I've got a couple of visitors coming to the Black Lodge. If you've not seen the Drams podcast with Mac from Campai Planet, definitely check it out. It's in 2 parts. I don't know whether to put it in just one huge long one, but he's the first to kick it off, but I've got a few more people coming, some familiar faces and some none, that I'm really excited about. And I'm excited because I get to let them crack in to these bottles. It's a nightmare. Glengarry 9-year-old finish next. Oh, I can imagine. How's that, Danny? Is it quite meaty, quite chewy? I would think, based on that. Mike B Whiskey Show was manic but great fun. Yeah. I know I was too late, mate. I'd already overwritten on them and stuff. It was my own fault. It's my own fault. I need more cards, but then I always hesitate to buy more cards because then I end up losing the cards. Dutch Jura, yes, please remember to hit that like button, as the whiskey friend Alan always reminds when he pops in as well. He's hot on it. I'm terrible at this stuff. Please it pushes it out, and we always end up with just some great random people drop in. Some that stay and hang for the channel, but some that are just really curious. My favourite one so far has been the American person that joined, who couldn't get their head around that there was a community just talking about alcohol. That was a great one. So when you hit that like, it pushes it out to people. So please do hit that like. James is saying, I love whiskey festivals and shows, of course. I'm going to finish up in the chat in a second. Love to get access to pools that I would otherwise never have access to, of course, Mike. And then Danny, all good here, out celebrating the wedding anniversary, nice stuff, kicking back in the sofa with a dram. Fantastic, Danny. Happy anniversary, mate. We had ours a few weeks ago, and then we have our big relationship one. 11 years. It'll be on Halloween. Nothing says romance, but asking a girl to be your girlfriend on Halloween. I think on that note, we should go to some of the highlight of this, which is the whiskey news segment. So, as I said, quite different this week. Quite different. Not as highly edited, and yeah. Well, hello there, David. You join me in a bit of a Blair Witch, Hansel and Gretel scenario where I'm trapped in these never-ending woods.
Daddy?
With some child.
Daddy?
Yes?
Who's on the phone?
Who's on the phone?
Huh?
Daddy's on the phone to himself.
Daddy's on the phone.
Yes. So as you join me here in the woods, let's do a quick recap of the latest and greatest news. Transition. OSWA nominations are out.
Daddy?
Some notable contributions.
Daddy?
Yes,
I'm in the room.
you're in the woods. Yes, we're forever in these woods. OSWA nominations are out.
Mommy?
Mummy's not here. OSWA nominations are out. Big hitters in the categories are notable in the Thompson Brothers, Ardnamurchan Merkin. You have Brooke Laddie, 18, up for Best Dram, Best Whisky of the Year. You have some big heavy hitters this year in the World Whisky stage. Stagg, noticeable for its entry point in there. cracking bourbon, and it'll be a really good, I think, a really good wide selection of what we've seen previously. As well as that, the contributors method this year was extensive, so hopefully not too many people are disappointed with what's going on. The Distillers 1 of 1 charity auction took place this week at a lovely big fancy venue with a lot of big fancy one-off whiskies. £3.1 million was raised, breaking over 30 auction records. Great cause, well done everyone involved. Biggest seller was the 1965 60-year-old Glenlivet. That went for £650,000. You can be snarky about it and say, oh, this isn't what whiskey's about, but you know what? The money goes to a great cause, and well done everybody that was involved. That way, I think that's the way out. Let's do it. It is, of course, the Edinburgh Whisky Festival today at Murrayfield, and some regular viewers of the show will be in attendance at that, and so I don't expect them to be watching this news segment. We had the London Whisky Show last week. Coming up in a couple of weeks, we have the Glasgow Whisky Festival. It's a great time of year. I know a lot of people are heartily involved. The topic tonight is obviously, are whisky shows overrated? You have to feed back and let David know, are they or are they not? While I'm stuck in this wood trying to rescue a child and a dog and myself from the never-ending labyrinth of these woods. Right, David, it's back to you. Wish me luck.
I want a piece of pudding.
You can push it then. And I think you can see why I have a drink. So as the segments I normally try and do in the woods, and normally I go for a walk with the dog, but this time I took the wee one as well. And she's a talker. Don't know where she gets that from, but she's a talker. But some interesting bits. I had some more to say, just couldn't get them out. But as I mentioned, first up, the OSWAs. I think that's a nice segue into the OSWAs. Great category selection this year. I think I had to go back and look at it again. I was kind of shocked because some of the selections that are out there, people will always gripe about, oh, it's not got this, it's not got that, it's not got that. I can tell you, I was lucky enough to be, again, a contributor this year. The amount of suggestions and the new way they've done it, Roy and Ralphie, and the way they've structured it, the amount of suggestions from not just the community of core contributors, but the wider community as well, for almost here's suggestions, was vast. It was vast, and I can understand that some people I know in my whisky group already called out and went, oh, this wasn't there and that wasn't there, and I'm like, people's choice, like people's vote, go and do that. You've got to remember, when it's a mass, individual little bottles, single casks and stuff will get lost. That's just natural. But I think there was still some like limited releases made it through. The good stuff made it through. The show is on the 1st of November. Get voting now. OSWA.com. I think it is OSWA.com. Maybe correct in the chat if not. But get your vote in. The votes are tight every year when you see the live show and Roy and Ralphie. And then Roy does a kind of debrief afterwards as well to show the numbers. It's tight. So please get off the fence if you've not done it before and get involved. It's great fun. The amount of effort that goes into it from those behind the scenes that work on it is for what? People are like, why do you do it? And I think it's just great recognising it. And it's also showing the voice. I think Roy did a really interesting live stream all about kind of the impact of the whisky community and online and what it's done. And I put a reel up yesterday on Instagram of his bottling with Ardnahole, which is becoming a bit of a cult favourite amongst the whisky community. Ardnahole, I think the stuff they're doing is great, but I wouldn't have bought that bottle without Roy being involved, if that makes sense. so it kind of guides people and helps you understand. So yes, I know that you guys, I would say the majority of you guys know about the OSWAs. I've probably already cast your vote, but if not, go and look at it. As I said, Patreons, we're going to have a wee separate chat about the OSWAs pre, and then looking at timings and stuff. There might try and do, because it really should be timing wise, shouldn't it? Is it 60 day? I might push back my stream that's due in 2 weeks and do it as a post OSWA live stream. So let me know in the chat if you would be up for that. The after party of sorts. I don't know if there's something already organised or not. But last year I jumped on quick, very last minute. But it might be something we can organise and maybe get some people involved, some other people who get their opinions on winners and losers. There's not really any losers. It's whiskey. Right, back to the chat. Back to me rambling on. Let's see what you guys are doing. Where were we? Rob Smith saying, I've only been to one whiskey show. What one, Rob? What one was it? Andy T saying, I'm off to Kendal Whiskey Show. Oh, that'd be great, I'm sure. My chat just jumped there. Love it when it happens. Off to Kendal in December. It will be my first visit. I think I saw the Kendal guys at the whiskey show. Polo shirts on. I hear it's always fantastic. Codger saying, David, you need to do Somerton Whiskey Festival. I think it'd make a great video. Codger, yes, I would love to. The problem is it falls normally on my wife's birthday weekend. Pretty sure it fell on my wife's birthday this year. So I'm a bit kind of tied with that. But I would love to go. But I saw that Somerton were involved with, what announcement was it? I saw the Glasgow, the one that they do. Is it the Scottish National Whisky Festival in January? I think Somerton have got involved with that. Pretty sure I saw that last night. I'll need to have a wee look at that. And if so, I can update you later. James saying, great way to try a wee micro pour of dozens of whiskies of otherwise probably never get to try. Exactly. And it's the 20th anniversary of the Victoria Whisky Festival here, British Connecticut, Canada in January. Always great, but with the special anniversary, it's going to be extra awesome. British Columbia, not British Connecticut. What am I saying? Yeah, James, definitely let us know. Like, Canadian whiskey scene, especially in British Columbia. I've got a friend that is over in the States quite a bit, between Florida and LA and Vancouver. So definitely let me know if there's anything in that scene that we should be looking out for in that kind of area. Mac, great to have you in, mate. Fantastic. I don't know, I think I'm pretty far behind in this chat, to be honest. So I'm going to try and catch up on it. Lowlander saying, I've never been to it. Alan went today, he'll be able to give you a debrief about it. Fantastic. James, sitting a lot low, €22 Port Rush, golden dram sample. Yep, I believe it's worth the 250 in the right glass. Worth a shot, right? And then we got Amy's just saying, 2 weeks ago I tried a Ryder Cup tasting in Dornoch, free from US, free from Europe, blind tasting obviously. Thompson Brothers Royal Brackler beat Blanton's. I could see that. I think Blanton's can be good, but Blanton's is never, like Shania Twain, never impressed me much. It's good, but it's the tier of it. I think John Wick has a lot to answer for it, to be honest. Glenn saying, dice whiskey in my glass, I've no clue what it is. Brilliant. Girlfriend rolls the dice for a cabinet number, then shelf number, combines them for a bottle number on that shelf. Truly a random blind pour from me. My goodness, Glenn, you'll need to share with me. I need to see this cabinet number, shelf number. I'm picturing, talking about John Wick, some giant, extensive collection going on. He's saying Oban Special Edition beat Balcones Rye, Westland Peated beat Swedish Peated, so 2-1 Team Europe. Pretty easy though, is that though, the whole Ryder Cup? You don't win all the time. And that's the extent of my knowledge, which I think you can tell is not great. Whiskey Life Paris highlight for me from Mike was the Karazua tasting bar. Not cheap but still incredible value. €300 for a flight of 4, including a White Warrior and 2 Le Maison de Whisky single cask, 1975 and 1968. Wow, truly a once in a lifetime experience. My goodness, if I'm scrolling down this chat at the moment, I am expecting to see Mac go crazy about that. Did you have it, Mike? Silly question, but did you have that early doors while your palate was fresh? Oh, I would assume you would, but assumption, you know. Rob's saying the anniversary chat reminds him that his anniversary is coming up. Hi, you're welcome. See, public service over here in the Black Lodge. Tony's went no dice involved, but asked my daughter to pick one of the 75 open bottles from the whiskey room. My daughter is like 2 years, few months old, and she knows what whiskey is, and she knows it's Daddy's whiskey. And then she wanted to come and sit here today and to press some of the buttons that I have on here.
Hi there.
Is that? Let me see. Where's my knob?
Hi there.
Yeah, she found that funny, but she really enjoys the trombone button. So we'll get her streaming in no time. Olanda, I'm enjoying the contributions from your co-presenter. Aye, she definitely made it quite the event. I'm going to scroll through your chat as we move on to the next topic. Now we're kind of firing through stuff at the moment, but the pace will slow down. I think the excitement and exuberance will wear off as we get into it. As I mentioned, I have my yearly charity tasting this week. Roy Aquavite actually helped me on my first one. I don't know if you'll remember, but I'd reached out to him about the Highland toast, the infamous Highland toast, and he'd sent me the little, one of his patrons had made them, the Lego man that taught them. I can't remember it offhand, but I still have them. But this year we're doing it. I do it through work, and we have a company charity that we raise money for. Last year it was Parkinson's, and the year before it was a local one in London. But this year there's been a lot of reshuffles in my organisation, and so it just kind of fell by the wayside, the charity of picks. So this year I picked the charity myself. So we are raising funds for Tiny Changes, the charity that was set up after the passing of Scott Hutchison from Frightened Rabbit. I think a lot of Scots will know the band Frightened Rabbit. Scott was a friend of mine, and when Scott passed away, it was obviously tragic, but out of the darkness came some light, which was the founding of a mental health charity to help young people in Scotland. So Tiny Changes are receiving all funds. The way it works is I organise the tasting. The Whisky Exchange are very, very kind at Borough High Street. They're pretty much my local whisky store of sorts. They give me their downstairs space for free, and so all funds are just paid direct to they just get the GoFundMe of Tiny Changes. Anybody that's buying a ticket, we've raised, I think we're looking at almost touching £2,000 so far. All the whiskey is donated by myself, and we have a great time. We just have a really good laugh with it. It's just such a fun event. I would say there's going to be, I think, 25 of us this year. It's the biggest one yet. I would say 4 people in the room, including myself, are dramas, and the rest come fresh. And so the theme this year is something that I'm going to be doing a video about. But spoilers for the Saturday Night Dram crew. It's the 7 deadly sins of whiskey, and the way we're doing it is we're doing a blind tasting of 7 different drams from across the world of whiskey, and we're going to go through them, tasting notes, we're going to chat, feedback in the room, and then after we've done the 7, people are going to allocate where they think that dram, what sin that dram represents. I have my list. but they're going to do it, and then we'll do another sweep round, try again, lock it in, then I'll reveal what I put them, and we'll see who matches up. Just, it's something to get people's brain going, and it's quite funny when you see it. I've tried it a couple of times just to test the theory of it all. It's funny just seeing people not know what the sins are. So that's happening this Thursday. I'm really excited for it. It's for a great cause. It's just the yearly thing. So hence why I was saying about the Stagg. Stagg will be included. I don't think anybody attending the tasting will be watching this. If so, then you're getting a 65.5% bourbon that, depending on your palate, you're going to put it somewhere. So that's happening this week. Really excited for that. It's also London Cocktail Week. So normally after it, we go to Swift in Borough, but I think they're going to be quite busy with a lot of stuff. So we might end up just in a pub somewhere. Right, let me see where we are. Chat, back to the chat. A lot of chat this evening. Loving it, guys. Your input makes it so much easier. Remember, I'm going to do my usual like, subscribe, give the comments. All this helps the channel massively. Instagram's been a bit up and down recently. I don't know if people have been leaving or just dummy accounts that follow and then disappear. But YouTube, we're slowly getting there, creeping up. But I'd rather have a tight community than just a wide ranging one, if that makes sense. Right, where are we? Tony's saying, for me, the highlight of the Glasgow Whisky Festival are all the social events before and after the event itself, but I really enjoy the Glasgow Whisky Festival itself too. I agree, mate. I agree. And on that, like this week, managed to get involved in the Super Blind Challenge on the Sunday, which I'm really excited for. Probably going to regret it. I've got an 8 o'clock flight home at night, but I purposely booked a later flight in the day because I thought if this happens, I want to go. After reading the Dram Face article of last year, I was like, I need to be involved in this. So me and my two mates have managed to get involved. And it's OSWA.co.uk. Thank you, Lowlander. Thank you for that. I really appreciate it. James saying regarding the Crown Royal saga, basically Diageo said they're going to close down a bottling plant in Ontario at the cost of a bunch of jobs. Ontario's Premier Doug Ford is properly pissed off. Yeah, he always is. I get it. And on top of all the American tariff stuff and that, he's been a big vocal voice in this. Yeah. I remember when Diageo closed the Kilmarnock plant for Johnny Walker. I wasn't even into whiskey then, and it was not great. Not great at all. Rob saying that I got together with a few friends Thursday to taste a few OSWA nominees. I have some tough choices to make. Yeah, I think the selection this year is so compelling, and it's such a great list this year of stuff that most people have tried as well. It's really nice to see. It's really nice to see. And I'm seeing Frank, Petehead, evening everyone, sorry I'm late to the party. No worries at all, mate. Always a pleasure to have you. And I'm so far back in the chat, I think. So you're not late at all. Scroll down, I'm going to try and jump through a few. Tom's talking about Somerton. They had a loose tie-in at the Aberdeen one, but not quite there yet. Yeah, I think it's now official, and they've pushed it. I haven't, Lowlander. I have not bought my Indie Spirits Fest ticket yet. I really need to get it, but I need to get it sorted. There's a lot of moving parts. It's having the wee one. I just try to balance that and be fair to my wife and not constantly jumping away from stuff, i.e. father responsibilities. But I really want to. I'm looking at also its cost of staying in Edinburgh versus do I go back to Glasgow, but I know that I'll just miss the train and yeah. Billy's saying he's only been to one whisky show too. It was in Bergen on the west coast of Norway. Looking forward to be able to do some travels in the future for whisky things. Billy, I think this is one of my favourite things about the whisky community in general, which is the opportunity to go to things and not feel like a stranger, if that makes sense as well. You feel like you're going to meet your pals, and that might even just be some like brand reps that you've done tastings with. As long as you know like one person, you settle in very easily. At the whiskey show last week, I'll talk to most people, but you'll just be standing, you'll be trying something, you'll turn your head to the person beside you, and they will be open 99% of the time to engaging in a chat with you and having like a bit of conversation about the liquid in your hand. I know that as the show goes on, I get very open to talking to everybody about every dram in the world, because I was looking through some footage today on a camera, and I was like, oh, you're enjoying yourself at least. Right, I have jumped into that. I have poured this as a, you can see what glass that is. That is a Croydon Whisky Festival. That is footage that has never seen the light of day. I was meant to edit it and get it up. I just was never happy with what I did, and there was some great stuff there. I think that may be a Patreon special, and then see if it's worthy of going out to the wider world. I trust the patrons with stuff like that. This is a mystery malt, the Glasgow 4-year-old. It is great. That, for lack of a better word, it's great. It's really good. We all know that Glasgow's doing great stuff, but aye, it was brilliant. It's really nice. It's fruity. I feel like this has came up with a few people now, and I've noticed it in some other people's posts today about some other Glasgow bits and pieces. Glasgow has this like sweetness to it, and I've got a bottle on the shelf. It is actually right next to the mystery bottle there, which is the North Star Glasgow, which is like your granny's tablet and all that, and the tasting notes. It's super sweet and super Glaswegian sounding, but it's all about confectionery, sugar and dusty, and I find that in Glasgow ones. Even the Vin's No Nonsense Whiskey single cask, the PX one, and that still has a sweetness. Obviously it's PX and peated, but and I'm really enjoying that. I'm loving how this spirit's evolving. And that's bottled, I think, 48.5%, the mystery malt. But it tastes heavier than that, because it's got this richness and thickness to it. I will say, for all the praise, it's 4 years old. It doesn't taste 4, but it doesn't taste 10. So that's my only thing. It does taste a little bit young, but not in a bad way at all. I just think when the longer their spirit's going to sit in cask, so excited for it. So excited. It's a wonderful dram. It's a wonderful dram. John from Chinford saying, I went to all 3 days at Whisky Show. I had a great time, met great whiskey people, and had some amazing drams. Yes, every year without fail, I say I need to buy the 3-year ticket next year. I think this year, the only reason I never was, it was the price. The price was a lot higher than I expected. The Whisky Show this year, which we can move on to, in London, we walked up on the Saturday at midday. Doors open at 11:30, and every year I've walked up at midday or so, and there's been a big queue snaking, and we turned the corner and there was no queue, and we were like, hang on a minute, and we just walked in. There was a few people getting their tickets, and so you had to wait and get scanned and get your glass and your wristband. But within 15 minutes of wandering about, I turned to my mate who'd been there the night before as well, and I said, is this quieter this year? And then I bumped into someone from the Whisky Exchange, and I asked them, I was like, is our sales down? Have you reduced allocation? They said, no, we've actually increased it by 100 tickets this year. I don't know what they did this year. I don't know if it was in general the vibe of whiskey at the moment, where a lot of speculators and outsiders have drifted away again, but it was the best. It was the best whiskey show I'd been to. Some stands were really busy. As I say, I mentioned the Heartcut. Diageo, you couldn't get a pour at Diageo. It was rammed on the Saturday. And normally I go to the Diageo one and have a bit of chat with some people there because they've got great under-the-counter drams. But these people weren't even doing that. It was all about the special releases and stuff. And as much as, like, at times we can bemoan the special releases and all that, huge demand for them. Huge. But, yeah, the show this year was great. It was really good. The vibe was really nice. I never saw much of any trouble. The drams were great. I'll come on to some of them later on as I try and catch up with this chat. So you're gonna have to excuse me, guys. I'm gonna fire through some of this chat very quickly and see what else is going on. We're seeing a lot. We've got Mike shouting out Campi Planet. One of the highlights of the Whisky Show was getting a chance to try Carousel once in a lifetime from Jason. Loved your review. It's a special dram. We've got Mac is saying I slept for 5 hours, which is twice as long as every night for the last 10 days when I've been getting the last 2 videos out. The sacrifice is real. Mac has been, he's been texting me, he's been slugging away at these videos. Absolutely slugging away. James Wright is saying, I think the standout distilleries here on the west coast of Canada is Two Brewers and Macaloni's. Shelter Point is also worth checking out, especially East bottles. I've heard of Two Brewers. Don't know if, James, I've asked you that before, but I've definitely recognised the Two Brewers. So I'll keep that in mind and let them know. Campi Max saying, I have very strict rules around paying for anything at a whisky festival. I never do due to palate discretion, but I would have made an exception for the Karazawa flight. And then Tom saying, Frabbit. Yep, absolutely. Frightened Rabbit. I'm glad you recognise it. Campi said, thanks Pete Head, me, Drinks Whiskey and Drinks Tube. Also appreciate your support. Wonderful initiative for one of Scotland's best indie bands. Talking about the charity, got that tattooed onto my arm after he passed, was a genius. Well, one of the guys that's coming to the tasting, long story short, it's with suppliers of ours, but I'm like a client of sorts. But one of the big suppliers, I said to him, sent him the invite, whatever, and then he's American. He came up to me the other day and he went, oh, yeah, no, absolutely, great cause. I was like, oh, thanks. Kind of shocked because a lot of people were like, what's this charity? And he's like, yeah, I've got it tattooed in my arm as well. And he's got the Frightened Rabbit thing. And I was like, just take it back. Stuff like that's weird. But, yeah, the music's great. It's been a while though. It's been a long while since I listened to it for obvious reasons. Might be love trying some of the new Nordic distilleries at the Whisky Show. 2 standouts were Bifrost. Yes, Bifrost, they were the big in demand ones for the longest time, weren't they? Where it was a whole kind of Norwegian mythology. What is it? Is it Norwegian? I don't want to say Scandi, that's too broad. Doing them a disservice of Odin and all that kind of stuff. Let's see where we're at now. Getting through, we're catching up. I feel like we're catching up. I think we've done it. I think we've made it to the bottom of the chat, guys. I'm seeing Codgers. Tony's saying, oh, I think I've jumped. I think there's been quite a jump. If I give up one sin, if I could double down on gluttony. Exactly. Tony, see, this is the pleasure of it from my point of view. There's some bottles that I'm putting in and I'm like, gluttony. Absolutely. Lust, envy. But some of them are like a bit pointed as well. And I will give you a recap afterwards of the bottles that I selected. I sent a picture of them to one of my mates and I said, what did you think of this? And they called out one bottle in particular, and I just laughed. I was like, yep, you know I've put that in there. Not going to say it on here just now, just in case. But yeah, let's see where we're at. Rob Smith saying, I watched the premiere of Ontario pour out a bottle of Crown Royal at a news conference. Yeah, I wonder if it was that blackcurrant one they've got. Julian saying, don't miss the indie at Drinks Whiskey. Julian, you know what? I thought about the indie festival today because I subscribe to YouTube Premium, and it means that I can put the phone in my pocket and just listen like a podcast. I know it's an expensive thing to do, but it's great because you can download for flights and just watch YouTube videos and stuff, and it helps me stay up to date with everything. I'd spoke to a couple of people just off the cuff about trying to get some YouTubers together, some creators, not even just YouTubers, but whiskey folk together. And then I thought it would be great if we could do something at around a festival or a time or a place, and just like, I don't know, just do something at the festival. And I'm not talking about like host, do anything like fancy or anything like that. But then I thought the one to do that would be the indie one, because we're all independent and we're all enthusiasts and we're in it for the love of the game. We're not in it to make any money. Not that independent bottlers aren't making any money, but you know what I mean. So I really don't want to miss it. I want the opportunity to hang out with some folk, but also when me and Mac hung out together and just talking about like editing and gear and other elements and stuff, it's almost like shop, talking shop about stuff like that outside of just the drams. And I'd love the opportunity for a reason for like a whole load of us to come together. It's really hard because we all have lives outside of this, but I'd love to get that on the go. Let's see. As far as I was concerned, real surprised Berry and Rudd don't get an independent bottle category. Some of the bottles are bloody incredible. I think I saw a comment I'm going to come to down that addresses this a wee bit. Your granny's tablet, Tramadol. Hi, God, you know it too well. Talking about the Scottish confectionery of tablet, which is fudge but with just more sugar, so it's crumbly. If we could have deep fried it, we probably would have. Oh, it's jumped again. Sorry, guys. Sorry about this. Nobody wants to watch me scrolling. There we go. I think if I can find it. Bifrost is indeed Norwegian. Yes, good. I was right at least about that. Max saying, I do wonder about Berry Brothers and Rudd, great liquid, but pricing sometimes too toppy for the cost-conscious community. Yeah, there's some bottlings they put out and they are pricey, and they love to do these big extravagant dinners in London. The new shop is great. I'd recorded the Drams on the Run. Again, another one that's never seen the light of day. I need to dig out the footage and maybe put it together. The new store layout for the whiskey is great, but they can be a bit pricey, and I know that they've forced before that independent shops take on a lot of their stock in order to get daft mill. And I get it, it's business, but it never sat with me because these poor shops were sat with bottles, it just never shifted. That's Mike confirming Bifrost is indeed Norwegian. And Tom saying, some boy, I was at an architect dinner a few years ago. With my sleeves rolled up, the room next to me was pals of Scott at uni. Led to a good night of reminiscing. Yeah. Nah, any opportunity to talk about it. And John Paul, if you watch my Norwegian adventures, my Kentucky adventures. When I went to Kentucky last year, me and John Paul. If you watch the first video of that series, and I do my wee who is this guy and how do I know him, you'll see me and JP on tour with Frightened Rabbit in Italy at one point. And he got me, you get out a shot, you won't even be able to see it, but directly above this cabinet is the Teams FC Tiny Changes Frightened Rabbit football top, and then beside that, JP got me a poster from that Italian gig that I don't know where he found it or if he rolled it up and kept it forever. So those two things are on the roof in here. Let me see. Where are we at? We are talking about indies. Petehead. He just poured himself a Motlach Eddie Rattray 90-year-old 55.9%. Yep, bourbon matured. Of course it is, Petehead. Don't you worry. I think you would have missed the dram lineup, which is now missing the Thompson brothers because I pulled the bottle away. But I do have a bourbon cask matured Kilkerran in there for you, and there's 2 bottles of bourbon. So that should hopefully keep you happy. For any opinions about that, but why is that still that old one? Why has that came up? I hate that comment. This should have came up talking about indies. Yes, don't know what happened there. Just poured myself a Mortlach AD Rattray, 19-year-old, 55.9%, and yet bourbon matured. Have none of those comments been changing as I've been talking? I hope they have been. If not, then fine. Adri Rattray, as we said before, great independent bottler. I really like the stuff. I think it's the whoever's doing the selection there, the palette is fantastic. Mike B, Thompson Brothers Mystery Malt Blind Challenge was great fun. Exposed my terrible palette. Yeah, I got done by that. It'll be in the video or whenever I put whatever I put out, but it was so shit. The one I got was like sherry off the bat. It was a sherry cask, and I was like, is it young? It was old. Is it peated? And like, oh, can he? Palate was trying to tune in, and I was like, no, it's either port or sherry. No, it must be sherry, a sweetness. And it was neither. It was the Rassie in a Dutch virgin oak cask. And Phil Thompson said to me, he says, I can see why you said that, because this is weird as hell, and this is what this Dutch virgin oak does. So that's one to watch out for, Frank. Dutch virgin oak apparently makes drams taste like they've been in grape. But everybody loved it. Their stand all the time was fantastic. I tried the Living Souls Thompson there. That was lovely. I don't think I tried anything else from the table, to be honest. We're so busy. You just kind of move on away, don't you, as you go. Lowlander's asking, will me and John Paul be doing another video together? Mate, I would honestly love to do another one with him. He's such a character. I've known him for years, and as I showed in that video, he's also got a lot of commitments. He does a lot of music stuff with DF concerts in Scotland. Works at King Tut's. Plus, he's a Celtic podcast superstar, which, if you know my team, doesn't make any sense for me and him to be hanging out. But like the Murphys, we're no better. So he's got that commitment as well. But we would love to. I'd love to. It was just such a great adventure with him. He's the most enthusiastic person you will ever meet about anything, and I mean that in the nicest, kindest way. I've always tried to get him to come to the whiskey show in Glasgow, and he'll ping me stuff at times when mates are offering him whiskey, or he's in a bar and he'll see whiskey. So fingers crossed we'll get something else on the cards. Maybe I'll ping him and be like, fancy going to Japan? We can meet up with Mac. Rob's now drinking that Kilkerran 8 bourbon cask. Is it the same one? Is it the same one? That's the question. That is the 55.6%. I don't know what year that is. I can't even reach the bottle quite right now, but let me know if it's the same one that you're on. And I didn't know, mate. I've not had the time, to be honest. I had to miss out this week with the wee one and stuff, and nursery duties, and try to pick her out. I even had to miss my mate's work stag of sorts. So I've been really stretched in terms of kind of picking and choosing when I'm in and when I'm out. But any recommendations? Have you tried any of the new stuff? Did you get any of the packs? And we have made it. We have made it to the end of the chat. I'm up to date. Sorry about that, guys. I feel like a sped run through everything you're doing. Get back to this Glasgow dram. For anybody new to the stream this evening, sorry, the reason I do a lot of talking, I read out a lot of the chat, is because I've had feedback, and I've got viewers and patrons and that like to listen to this Saturday Night Drams on a Monday or Tuesday at work during the week, and they just put it on. And so there's an element of almost podcasting to it, where I want to make sure that they can get the maximum out of it as well. But also, if you're chatting to people and you're kind of doing, you're sitting your TV, sometimes you don't see the chat. So we just try and keep it flowing as much as possible. I As I said, we've had a decent number of viewers tonight. If you haven't, please hit the like button. It helps spread it and attract a wider audience to the thing. I've had some messages coming in. One of them from one of the guys who will be attending the charity tasting, saying he's so glad that it's on a Thursday this year. We normally do it on a Wednesday, and that's always a tough Thursday, but at least on a Thursday you're almost at Friday, aren't you? Looks like I have the same bottle, 55.6. Brilliant. And Petehead saying, you're struggling a lot with the stream tonight. I think you've been away too long. What are you meaning? What am I struggling with, Frank? I feel like we're firing on all cylinders. Whiskey Marcos. Evening, Marcos. Are you coming live, I believe? Are you in the old Deutschland? Are you in Germany? If so, let us know how that is going. Always great to have you in. Friend of the channel, Marcos. I say this all the time, I'm not a big legs guy, right? But the viscosity of this Thompson Brothers Glasgow 4-year-old, there's just so much depth to it. It's brilliant. Oh, and they're saying they had some whiskey drawn from the cask from the warehouse in Campbelltown. The last one was a Bourbon, 22-year-old cask sample. It was bang tidy. I can imagine. Bowmore is something that came up. I was watching an old video, the For Me or No For Me with the Big Pete Cherry Edition. And then at one point I'm trying to work out what this whiskey could be in the Big Pete. It tastes a lot like Kilkerran at one point, but everything does. And then I was like, it actually reminds me of an old boat, like a Bowmore I had before. I just feel like, what's happening with Bowmore, man? Like, I don't think about Bowmore, really, that often. And it's mates of mine in the whiskey group I'm in, they love an old Bowmore, but the problem is everybody loves an old Bowmore. So it's, it's kind of self-prophetising of, like, it's not great new. Could be wrong, I've not had any new. And I'm not a big leg guy. Lowlander, I will say, I'm amazed that you've held your tongue about the news this evening coming out of the football world in Scotland. I was expecting you to be jumping on that, as you normally do with my streams. And Marcos, yes, live from Germany. What a cool place. I'm going to wash that glass out. James Morgan, always quick to comment about the water. I've tried to pick drams tonight that won't need much water, to be fair, so I've got sparkling water to help with the palate. And Rob Smith saying, Bowmore, so much lost potential. I know, and it's really frustrating. It is frustrating because why are they not taking care of it? I don't understand. Don't understand, especially on that island, man. Like, it's such like, it's a weird one. But we're not here. We're here for the positive. Dutch Jura, big love to Marcos. Loved the BNS tasting and the Bond, superb night. So, if you don't know, Marcos has moved on from North Star. He's now at Brave New Spirits. I saw him at the Whiskey Show last week where he flung a very, 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 very decadent, tasty dram my way. And I really appreciated it, and also was very happy that it was early in the day so that I could enjoy it. And then also we had a Linkwood, the Linkwood red wine. I had a lot of red wine casks this year at the Whiskey Show, just saying that. A lot of red wine variations, but the Linkwood red wine was lovely. I really enjoyed it. Some like polling of just this community. Most of you know who Marcus is, but Is it just me? Is it because it's Marcos that's doing it? But BNS, the Braden, but I'm seeing it everywhere now. I don't know if it's just been brought to my attention. Seeing it everywhere. But just wanted to shout that out. Let's see what else. Whiskey Live Germany has been excellent. Some fantastic whiskey I've tried. I was being polite, however, if you like to mention it, I can. No, it's fine. We are here for the whiskey chat, but just so that it's no cryptic, basically just before I came on air, the news broke that Rangers will not be appointing Steven Gerrard as the new manager. He has pulled out the process. And so my phone was blown up amongst the group that I'm in, various groups. And I think that's why I came in with such like energy at the start, because everybody was just going bonkers. But normally Lowlander is very quick to point out any football related things relating to my team. But thanks for being very polite this evening. Highland Hamish, weather permitting, we'll be in Donnock on Monday for a bit of YouTubing with Thompson Brothers, and then along to Donnock Golf Club. Oh, brilliant, mate. I don't want to spoil it. I don't want to ask you to spoil it. I'm sure you'll have a wonderful time. That Donnock adventure, I never had the chance. Hamish flagged to me, he's like, try and get to the vault and do this. Just never had the time. But that just means I have to go back. If you've never been to Donnock, I would say please put it in your bucket list, guys. Find a way to get to Donnock. The drive from Inverness onwards is spectacular. So even if you fly to Inverness, shortcut it, fly to Inverness and then drive up, and you go by Glenmorangie just before you get there as well, so you can double done, and then you can go to Bob. It's just amazing. It's amazing. And if you've not seen it, I've got no travel in the. You would have seen in part 1. There's no travel footage. Jack, who was on the trip with me, works in the movie business, but he's a writer, so he never videos anything. And I was driving and kind of focused on just getting to the point. I've since purchased a wee action cam, and I've got a mount for it, and I can stick it on things and do stuff, but I never had it at the time, and I was kind of normally I rely on like my wife when we drove up last year. She videos stuff and then sends me, and she does it in landscape, and I can use it. So I've got no footage, hence why I had to come up with the map animation of sort, to document the journey up. But please, if you can, I'm saying this, get to Donnock, guys. It's just a dream. And then also being a designated driver was a nightmare. And it wasn't because I didn't trust Jack doing it. It was more because we had this big car, and he's never driven in Scotland before, and also the roads are fucking tight at the best of times. So it was just a call of, I know where I'm going, I'll do it. And then James, as he always says, and I appreciate him for keeping, he says, just a dropper on hand. Mate, look, don't you want, I've got loads of them. I've got a bag full of them. To just open it up, and I do, but I purposely tonight was looking at the drams and thought, no, I've had them, I know what's going on. The 65.5 Stagg, yep, maybe, but I'd rather add ice or something to the Stagg. But see, Billy bought his first Bowmore a couple of months ago. Very disappointing 12-year-old. Yeah, it's no great at all, mate. It's just a shame. Peter saying, no, if you're lucky, you can still find an occasional stunning Bowmore, but only search for IB as it will be a mediocre at best. And Tobias is backing up saying it's the worst whiskey I own. And we're not here to bash people. Like, everybody's doing a job. Everybody's just trying to get on, and it's something that I'm very conscious of, is punching down. Especially in the market and the way it's going and the layoffs and stuff like that. No one needs it. I think it's just, you can tell by community and content creators, if that makes sense, of what we're talking about and what we're not talking about. My way is I don't talk about it. If I'm not talking about it and you don't hear me talk about it, there's a reason I'm not talking about it. It's better to say nothing. Just being polite. Like, if you've not got something nice to say, don't say it at all. I would rather be that way minded when it comes to whiskey than slagging it off. It's no fair. If that makes sense. Does that make sense? Do you get where I'm coming from? I will call out objectively bad whiskey. I did it with the Macallan video with Mac, with A Night on Earth in Scotland. I think that's a disgrace of a release. I think they should be embarrassed by it. I'm embarrassed that they released that, and they released it under the pretense that it's Hogmanay. This represents Hogmanay in Scotland. Absolutely not. And it really, no into it. So it's not that I won't call out stuff that I find objectively bad, but I just think at times the broad scale, if you don't talk about it, there's a reason people aren't talking about it, and there's a ton of distilleries we could reel off. Some of them are on the comeback trail as well, and then you call it out then, and you see they're doing good stuff, and they're trying, and they're making the product better, and they're doing this, and they've invested in that. Look at Loch Lomond. Loch Lomond was a dirty word in whiskey a while ago. The same as Glen Scotia. Those releases some of them were bad, and now they are fantastic. So but the Bowmore stuff at the moment is poor. It's very poor. I'm not a fan. But we are going to talk about some good stuff now. If you had watched my VPub takeover, when Roy Aquaviti was very gracious and asked me would I be able to fill in the hot seat, and I had 3 wonderful guests, one being Matt Campai Planet, one was of course Billy Abbott from the Whisky Exchange, and then we had Woven's very own Master Blender on hand, Pete, and it was great, and we were talking about building like the ultimate beginner's collection, like a whiskey for a newbie, a whiskey for an old hat, something weird, etc. And in the weird category, I'd messaged the guys and I said, look, just so we don't duplicate, can you let me know what you've got? And Billy came back with this one, and I went, oh, I nearly called it out myself. But then I realised I didn't have the same whiskey that I thought he had. And I am, of course, talking about, let me make sure I get this right for the camera. This is Key 1. This is Korean whiskey, and this is a unicorn. And on the side you'll see it says, oh, move my face. It says sample, not for resale. And then it's all in Hangul, Korean language. But basically, that's it. Andrew Shand. That's who I met at the whiskey show, Andrew. He gave me his card, and I don't know what I did with it. It's a nightmare, but I'll reach out to him. It's great to chat to him. It's fascinating stuff what they're doing over there. The climate of Korea is mental at the best of times. Extreme. This time of year and spring, they have the same seasons that we have here in terms of timings, but they have it extreme. The summer's like 85, 90%, 100% humidity. It's hot and it's muggy and it's disgusting, and you walk 5 seconds and you're just wet. And then in the winter it's like minus 22 and snow and everything. Like, I lived through it. It's wild. And then you have spring, fantastic, cherry blossoms and all that, and it's lovely. And then you have autumn, and it's cooler and it's manageable, which is now. But it's interesting what that does to the whiskey, as we know, and the casks. And we chatted, and we were chatting about the Whisky Exchange and Whisky Show exclusive bottle, which I really want to get. It had the most interesting. It was so buttery. It was so buttery. This whiskey at cask strength, and it turned out they used Korean baker's yeast because of COVID and blah blah blah. It was fascinating stuff. I'm pretty sure I've got it on video. If not, then we can talk about it further. But he went and said, "Here, have this," and it's a sample of 3. I have the wee boxes on the shelf behind me. But I've got the three kind of core ones. This is 46% the Unicorn. This is smoky and earthy. Now, the smoky one they gave me last year, I tried this last year at the whiskey show, Key One, and the smoky one reminded me of like a Lefroy quarter cask, and it was great. And I was really impressed, and by great I mean like it wasn't something earth-shattering, but it was better than it should have been, if that makes sense, for the age and for what they were doing. So, as I said, I used to live in Korea. I've got a big soft spot for that, just off the bat, for them trying to do something different. They're trying to go a different way from Japanese whiskey. They don't have the history of Japanese whiskey, but they have a distilling history of hundreds of years. So, we'll see. We'll see how it translates in the glass. It's quite pale, but this was Billy's pick for the weird and wonderful. Something different. Off the bat, it's quite light. The smoke, there's a smoky peatiness to it, but it's such a subtle peat. It's such a rounded, soft, almost perfumey type of peat. Very pleasant on the nose. Jumping about. It reminded me a wee bit there. It's very initially like the Kilkerran, a bit coastal, a bit briny. Then there's this just complete, the way I could describe it, it's like a big wave, a surf wave. This flip of flavour on your tongue, and then it comes back, but it lingers. This is 46%, but the finish is still there. This is a really, really, really interesting dram. It's very pleasant. It's very pleasant. Again, like, it's coating the glass. It's just, the finish goes on and on and on. I never tried this at the show, the Unicorn. My plan was at that point was like one from each stand, and so I tried the show exclusive, and then I moved on to game of those, and I was like, I'll come back, and I never got back. I'm a big fan of it. Off the bat, big fan. Bias aside, Key One, wow, fair play. Can buy it at the Whiskey Exchange on the website, as I'm sure you know. Let me see, what else have we got? Back to the chat. To the Bowmore chat. Here we go. Sorry, I'm having to go between two screens. Mac is saying Suntory own Bowmore. Yeah, I know, but they own, correct me if I'm wrong, do they know on Glengarry as well? And Glengarry's doing like fantastic. Can they not just split people or like hire some more people to do what they're doing there? Just copy and paste. Just give it a bit of time and do some good stuff. James is on Distillery Edition number 9 up next. Fantastic. Lomond. Is that the latest one? Number 9? If so, please let me know how it is. Adrian, evening folks. Just finished, what's that? Just finished a movie with the family, and so you were on, David. Oh, mate, welcome. As usual, if you don't know, the best way to keep up to date with me is either via Patreon or via Instagram. I'll normally post it, give the heads up. Schedule's a bit erratic at the moment with Saturday Night Drams. Coming out of summer, going on holiday, doing stuff, blah blah blah. It's going to be a wee bit hectic over the next couple of weeks as well with some family stuff, but I will always keep that updated on there. and I saw Ian's had got a drop of Ardnor Cask Strength in my glass too, but mixed in some of Indie PX Ardnor too. Pretty good, in my opinion. I tried at the whiskey show the new, I want to say, is it Barley Heritage or whatever it was, the Ardnor Markin. It's lovely. It's really nice. I don't know if it's Golden Promise. They were doing single cask Golden Promise stuff, and that was delicious last year. I was speaking to Connell, I was speaking to Graham at Ardnor Markin, blowing smoke up their arse, just been like, you know, your stuff's good. Your stuff's really good. And they were like, oh, shut up. And I was like, Ardnor Cask Strength for me, it won March Dram Madness all the way. And it's such, now based on doing March Dram Madness with it, such an emotive dram for me, because it takes me at a time and a place and a feeling of being on the coast and the ruggedness of the sea, and it's a wonderful dram, and PX Ardnor, unbelievable. So if you've not tried it or you're on the fence, I would say I really enjoyed it. I think one of my drams of the year, which really surprised me, and I need to buy a bottle of it and I keep holding off, is the Ardnor Markin Midgie release this year. I think it's such a fruity, lovely, beautiful crafted bottle of whiskey. Like, I'm so impressed with it. Like, the jump from last year's to this year's is just phenomenal. Let me know, guys, if you've had it, what your thoughts on it. I just thought it's not in the same wheelhouse as the Cask Strength. The Cask Strength to me is such this like powerhouse, and it's just the best of what Ardnor is, outside of single barrel, single cask, etc. But I think you just got to give it a shot. Billy's just poured the Ardnor 10. Yeah, it's great. There's spoiler alert, there's another 10 coming that they're very excited about. I've still got my Ardnor 10 Adelphi bottling from the Whiskey Fringe last year sitting under there. That I just need a reason to open. But I'm waiting. I don't hold bottles specifically to keep, or like, don't open them because I don't want to open them. It's because I want to share them with people. I want the experience with other people. And that's why I'm excited about what's coming in the next few weeks, with people coming to the Black Lodge and videoing some bits and pieces. If Marcos is still on, if he's still watching in Germany, he's got free reign. Every bottle behind there is good to go. Help yourself. Pick your drams. Do you know what I mean? So it's when people come and visit, that's what it's here for. And Adrian's saying the same about the Loch Lomond. To James, interesting to hear how this Loch Lomond, the new distillery edition, is. We know it's going to be good, but everybody just needs that final. At the moment, we just need that wee push over the edge. Because you had to recycle the Deanston. There's a bit more in the glass than I was envisaging. Oh well. They're the best pours, aren't they? Where you go, oh, there's not much left, and you end up with that. Happened to me in a stream, I'm sure. But I poured it in and I was like, oh, Jesus. Tom saying he's loving reading about everybody's drams. It's such for next signatory Mortlach, Campbelltown Lock, and a mystery malt lag 5 Slanger. Right, Mortlach. We need to have a conversation about Mortlach. What do we do about Mortlach? Where do we place it? What are we doing with it? Because it's evident that nobody that's working at Mortlach knows what they're doing with it. But I feel like signatory stuff came out, but is it a case of the casks just weren't there? They weren't being sold and stuff. I feel like it's waiting for a renaissance. I feel like Mortlach could really dominate. Ben Rinnes is regular viewers know I love Ben Rinnes. I was trying to get a t-shirt made for the festival. You know the collegiate style t-shirts? Like Deanston, the old Deanston branding was quite collegiate, and it just like they had t-shirts like it, and it just looked like Deanston. I was gonna get one saying Ben Rinnes. I was gonna make one saying Ben Rinnes. So good, they named a mountain after it. Because I just think Ben Rinnes it's up there with like anything that they is put out most of the time. Spoiler alert for the Whiskey Show video when it eventually comes. I tried the rare find. I think it was an old one. It was 30 odd years old, maybe. Ben Rinnes. And I had a great time at the rare find stand. I think the stuff they're putting out now is phenomenal. But that was just it was a misstep for me. I did not enjoy it. And I feel like Mortlach is in a similar place where we almost know it's good, but we just don't talk about it, we don't go near it, because it's just a bit, I could be wrong. I could be right, who knows. But Lowlander's saying there's 204 bottles left of the Distillery Edition 9 according to the Loch Lomond website. We've been here before, Lowlander, where you try and peer pressure me into buying one of these Loch Lomond bottles. Remember we did it, where it was a countdown, and then I ended up not buying it and massively regretting it, so I'll probably do it by the end of the night. If anyone's thinking about buying the Distillery Edition 9, they also have bottles of Ladies Open exclusive cash, which is super if you like Sauterne style finishes. I tried the Open Rioja at the show last week, and that was lovely as well. And that's just a basic, I think that's a core, like, broad range one. It was great. I just think everything they're doing, they know what they're doing, man, over there. The investment's right, the right people are working there. It's great. It's just really good. And James is saying, yeah, it's pastry crust, lemonised lychee expression, sips a little hot, but not bad for a neck pour. Oh, it'll be good. Right, the chat is up to date. Good course so far. Everybody's doing well. Go to my themes of the night. God, Lowlander's saying it at the same time. In that case, buy your... I know. No, I know. There's some other things that I've bought, trips and stuff, that I need to kind of deal with. Like, I'm going back to this key one. 46%. It drinks lovely. If you need a nice peaty whiskey, now don't get me wrong, everybody's palate's different. For me or no for me, this is a for me. This Unicorn. That's me and Billy Abbott both saying it's good. I just think it's really interesting. It's so close to Scotch, but at the same time, just different enough. Just different enough to get a wee edge, if that makes sense. Like the edge being the difference. It feels like there's been a lot of love put into it, like a lot of attention. So do seek them out. Key one. Yeah, mate, in these 20 years plus to truly shine, never had a good young one myself. I was buzzing. Went through the dram list. 40-year-old Mortlach, Adelphi. Brilliant, I'll get there. It won't be getting like snapped up. It'll take its time. I got there and my mate, we kept splitting up. One of my mates, glass, saw him getting his pour on. I was like, oh, what'd you get? And he went, oh, the Mortlach 40. I was like, yes, that's what I'm here for. And he went, that's the last of it. And I was like, nah, I good joke. And he's like, no, genuinely, that's the last of it. And I was like, oh, brilliant. But being very kind, they gave me a 40-year-old Glenlivet instead, which was lovely. It was amazing. Great dram. Glenlivet, another one of those brands that just kind of slept on these days, just because they're not doing much. But the Yeah, the 40-year-old Mortlach would have been a different beast. But yeah, whiskey gods, what's for you won't go by you. But I gutted, absolutely gutted. We will get around to opening the other drams. Now, bear in mind, guys, as we're coming on in the evening and people are popping in and popping out, drams still on the table are Stagg, 1920 Prohibition Old Forester, which is fantastic, and the Kilkerran Bourbon Cask matured. Now, you're probably wondering about that Adelphi bottle behind it. Now, the reason that's there is it's actually a lamp. I'm going to, give me a second, I'm just going to show you. So as you can see, it's a lamp. That was a Dallion. It was gifted to me by my mum as a bottle of Bunnahabhain 12, and then I finished that Dallion Adelphi, which was unbelievable. And I was like, I need to remember this, and so I changed the bottle for the lamp. Right, moving on from that. Oh, Lowland, come on, killing me. We can definitely get that back. I'm just seeing the chat. I mean, when we see the return of the horse racing to the stream, do you know that horse racing got me copyright striked? Because the wee horse racing thing I pulled from YouTube, but it's because it had the Dropkick Murphys in it. So I've just never had the time to do an intro for it. We will get the horse racing back. We will do let me see, we'll do a Christmas special. We'll do like a Black Lodge Downs. We'll do the big one, and we'll get the racing going. It's something that is coming up. Spoiler alert. Okay, it's 11:20 at night, so I can tell you. I picked up a bottle this week to do a giveaway with, so that will be in December, so maybe we can make it around the horse racing as well, the giveaway. Maybe we do there's 6 horses, we pick 6 people and they race to win the bottle. I feel like that's pretty fair, because the horse racing is a nightmare. And then we randomise who gets which horse and whatever, and there's a fairness to it. But I do have a really good bottle that is currently one of them, but the brand is on that shelf. Yeah. As a thank you for channel growth and just stuff like that. As I mentioned before, I've been gifted bottles and I'm super appreciative of it, and I never asked for that, and I just feel like I can give one back. And Rob's kind of interested in Old Forester. It's great, mate. The Old Forester 1920 Prohibition was, and it's funny, it's watching it back as well. When I went to Kentucky and I went into the Old Forester on Whiskey Row, that was my favourite dram that I had on a flight as well. It tickles me, and I wonder if it's a Scotch whisky profile of it. There's just like a meaty oldie worldiness to it compared to normal bourbons, and also it's really easy to get. And James is just saying, you guys do know the 1920, 1910, 50 blend, 1915, it helps with the latest 1920 drift and flavour. James, I've not, like, as I said, I've been eking out this bottle for a while. So are you finding there's a bit of a drift? Because the 1910 I just found was a bit, it never gave me what I needed. 1920 did. So is that happening? Maybe there's drift in 1910 and 20 to get that blend. And for anybody watching who's not into bourbon, I think bourbon is very similar to how Americans approach Scotch, where it all tastes the same to begin with, and then the palate develops and they start to get into it and they understand it, and then they go, oh my goodness, you get variances and different flavour profiles and whatever. We can talk about OSWAs, and I think with the OSWAs this year it was quite noted that some of the bourbons called out, which were, funnily enough, 1920 and Stagg. Stagg came up quite a lot because the way it was done this year with the contributors list, it was people putting stuff in with different spelling or whatever, but we got the full list and it was the list being like Stagg, and I was like, great. And then I saw as well 1920, and I was like, it's always nice to be kind of validated that you're not going a bit mental and your profile is in line with like what you think is good, other people think is good. It's just one of those ones. I'm seeing some comments come in just now. Petehead saying, time for some Pete. No like you. Kalila, 10-year-old, SMWS, refill bourbon in the glass. Brilliant, mate. Flanger, cheers to you, mate. Glenn saying, I'll bring you a bottle of Old Forest Prohibition. It's on sale now. Glenn, you don't need to, because I've got my mate who's getting me one. But I will get back to you about something else. But there was an Old Forester that I saw that you sent a picture of, which I'm really keen on. I think is it a single barrel or the blue label? Because I'm really intrigued to see what goes on with that. Lowlander, that's very generous of UPS. How do I rig the race in my favour? Right, you've got to be in it to win it first. Got to be in it to win it. But the horse racing track it's going soft. The ground's soft. Rob Smith did make it to Old Forster. Yeah, it's a really impressive building. Really impressive. That was it. It was a 38 Mortlach. I think that's it. The 38 was lovely. Ex-bourbon, which is unusual. Yeah, that was the one. Not 40-year-old. Sorry, 40-year-old Glenlivet, 38 Mortlach. I'm glad you got to try it, mate. It just sounded really, really, really good. James is saying, more so in the latest 1920s. Outrated, but we rarely see it. Yeah. And Peterhead's, I need a horse and my motorcycle about for repair during the winter months. Frank, you just need to spend more time in Scotland then. Just sitting in the bars. I'm sure there's plenty you could find. Just keep yourself warm. And my package of Glen Scotia 12 arrived today, finally in glass. It's making me happy. Fantastic, Tobias. What's your thoughts on it though? Good? Enjoying it? I would assume so if you're saying it's making me happy, but never know. Never know. Right, I am... Just a great dram, that. That's really good. I'm going to say it one more time. Key one, right? Key one. Let me... So you can see it. Comes in a big bottle. Unicorn. Lovely. I have a bottle on the shelf behind me that I won at auction of the Key one. I'm pretty sure it was the one I had last year. Batch 4. Cask strength, or at least 57.1 peated. That reminded me of Lefroy Quarter Cask. I won at auction last month before. Sorry, I'm just cleaning my glass. Can we give a call out to Strathclyde Regional Council? If you don't understand it, it's fine. But this logo and this colouring and this font was anybody grown up in the west of Scotland. That was our childhood. It was on the school jotters, it was on the buses, it was on the trains, it was everywhere. Right, let's see. Lowlands is agreeing with me. Listen to Drinks Whiskey. Just spend the winter in Scotland while your motorcycle is being repaired. We'd love to spend more time in Scotland, trying to come over several times a year already. Frank, you're in Scotland more than me, to be fair. To be honest, you are there more than me. And then, yeah, of course, time, work, and money are the holdbacks. Unfortunately, same as us all. Same as us all. Though I do spend a lot of my lunch breaks at times just scanning property and could we do this, could we do that. The dream, but then got to remember I live in the southeast of England and the weather's lovely here compared to up there. Like, so I need to keep the reality check. Exactly. Look at that. So this was a collection that an artist is doing. His name escapes me at the moment. It'll come back to me. But with the Nike store in Glasgow. And so I was in Crete. I saw it. I messaged my mum. She went along. She then phones me as I'm at my daughter's evening disco thing. I'm like, I can't answer the video call. Phone her back. And it's a patch, but you can take any Nike product into the store, but they get you. So I had to pay for the hoodie. She got the patch for me. I've got a bag as well that says Belter, and they have loads of Glaswegian stuff and West of Scotland stuff, but official Nike. And I just thought, get me it. Just get me it. Pay for it, because that logo is like PTSD. And I'd looked at making some merch in a similar style, and I probably still will, because it's fair game now. But aye, anybody in Scotland, I think most of us recognise it, if not from this, of a certain age, from Taggart. Tobias saying about Glen Scotia 12, I had pretty high hopes, but it delivers. The nose is most interesting, more lactic than I'd anticipated. But flavour, mouthfeel and finish are great for the modest price. Yeah, no, I think that's a fair review, mate. That's good to know. What we got if I click here? What happens there? Oh, nah. Always stuff going on. Right. Next up, switch this to that. Drams. Right, dealer's choice. Where am I going, guys? Did I crack open that Stagg? I do need to open that Stagg for the charity tasting, just to get some air in it. I thought this was the same bottle that I had done for March Dram Madness, and it's not. But it turns out I actually own two of these bottles, because a mate of mine swapped me a bottle and I didn't know that I'd already had this. I thought I was getting a different one, and it turns out I now have two of them. So I have two of these 65.5%. So cracking that open for the charity tasting. I've got the 1920 Prohibition Style. It's the death of that bottle. It'll be sad. I think that's 50, let's work this out, 57.2. And then we have the Kilkerran Bourbon Cask Matured Cask Strength 8-year-old 55.6 from last year. Delicious bottle as well. So I'm just seeing which batch. I can see James is asking me which batch. I'm going to let me see if I can do a bit of zooming. There's no batch on it, This was that weird time where they started dropping the batch. But as you can see, it's 131 proof. The Old Forester's 57.5. Does not drink at that. And then we have the Kilkerran 8. And I'm seeing a lot of KK8. So let me go through the chat. KK8, KK8. Yeah, we're all going. KK8. It is, guys. So let me switch to there so I can go and get the bottle. Outvoted, absolutely. No one was having any bourbon on here. Why are we surprised? Why are we surprised? I will have to open the Stagg this evening just to give it a bit of air before Thursday. But aye, everybody, KK8, fine. So here we go. As you can see, non-chill filter, no added colouring. The date on the back, yep, it's a 2024 bottle. That's for you dram perverts out there. Don't worry, that was just water in the glass. It's a belter. It is a belter. That's why you're supposed to say that. I know. It's great. It just sits. It sits perfectly. The distillate, the barrel, even the age at 8. It's good, isn't it? It's good. It's so good. You get that initial peatiness of it. Such a different peat. It's like a barnhouse peat. If I had to describe it some way, barnhouse peat. And then the fruity, there's a fruitiness that comes through. So I did last night, I cracked open the Ardnaho Aquavitae small batch release that I'd bought. And I'd held off buying it just because, you know, Simply Red, money's too tight to mention, and you're kind of looking at it and you're thinking, oh. And then I started to see reviews coming out, and the reviews of it were like, this is great, this is great, this is great. Ardnaho stuff's been doing, like, the output's been great, people have been loving it. But there's been a bit of speculation around it, speculative buyers, etc. So I took the plunge. Then I'd messaged, oh god, there's a big daddy long legs in the stream. People had been saying about it, and then I'd bought it, and then Roy said, oh, it's great, isn't it? And I was like, I've not opened it yet. And last night I was like, right, I'm opening it. And I was blown away by it. And I thought, fantastic, what a dram, 6 years old. Lots of weird things going on in it. Whereas the Kilkerran 8, doing very similar moves to my palate. I keep getting, at the moment, I keep getting this weird black currant vibe from stuff. Like, I don't know. And I'm sure it's a bourbon cask. I'm sure there's something going on with the peat in the bourbon cask in my head that's landing me in there. Just seen Ian saying, I'll join you if it's a KK. And then down here, I've just seen him say, Adrian as well, join you in the KK8. Cheers, guys. Glenn, thank you so much for joining the night. Thanks for being first in, almost last out. Always a pleasure. Can't wait to see you in Scotland next month. Probably saying can't go wrong with a KK8 bourbon. Just poured a dram of the Ardnah Mezcal. How do you find it? So the Mezcal for me, the Ardnah Mezcal had a wee bit of conflict in my brain. This smoky, tequila-y taste with Ardnah Spirit, which normally has a bit of roughness to it. I'm not saying it was bad or anything like that. It just, for me, it was just that there was a conflict. I couldn't quite nail it. And I did the video of it and I mentioned it and someone had messaged, I can't remember who it was, and said, what Ardnahs is it you don't get on with? And that was one of them. The mezcal and the rum. I never really, wasn't for me. Peter saying, had an Ardnah tasting earlier this year in Limburg. For me, the mezcal was a winner. Needless to say, we're great pillated, of course, Frank. I think, but have you had the Ralphie bottle? Ardnah single cask, I'm pretty sure it was a bourbon cask peated. And I feel like bourbon cask peated Ardnah is like top tier. That's where it shines. He's saying, yeah, I love the mezcal. Yeah, I don't know. I just couldn't quite agree with it. Couldn't quite get there. Maybe I need to go back to it. Maybe it was just palate day. I think doing the For Me or No For Me, and as well as the March Dram Madness, I learnt very quickly, like, palate, day of, mood, influences everything so much. I've been on Mexican beer though, so I've been kind of close. I've just seen Mac's comment there. Mac, pleasure to have you in as always. Thank you so much. I've saved your latest video. Mac's got his latest video came out yesterday, day before. Be watching it tomorrow. Sunday's like a YouTube big TV day for us as a family household, so I'll be watching that tomorrow. If you've not seen it, guys, go check it out. Probably saying I have not mezcal and I like mezcal, but I've not opened the bottle yet. Rob saying he likes mezcal cast, but I like mezcal. Pardon me. This is the thing, I like mezcal. I have no problem with mezcal. I just find sometimes certain whiskies and whatever for my palate just it doesn't work. But I'm not ruling it out, I'm not jumping out. Adrian saying, I'm still not sure on mezcal. I like it, but I don't love it, if that makes sense. Somewhere in the middle of the Ardnahs, I had enjoyed. Yeah, that's what I mean. It's not bad. Peter saying, best Ardnah I had so far was a tin drum exclusive. Yes, that was like hot commodity. That tin drum Ardnah, I remember that. Mike, thank you so much for joining this evening. Catch the rest on replay. Won't be much longer, mate. You'll miss half an hour. So if you skip to half an hour from the end, you'll get there. Have a good night. Right, back to this KK8. It's definitely a drinker's dram, isn't it? Kilkerran, Cask strength. If I put that in that tasting, it's not in the tasting this week. Because, no, you're no sharing. I'm not giving that to the whiskey drinkers, for a start. But it'd be too much for them. There's too much going on. It's such an interesting, deep dram. Even for myself, I wouldn't sit and have this watching the TV, watching a film. Like, even doing this is quite difficult. I want to sit in that nose and kind of get into it. Imagine you cut these up, sit in that nose. What am I saying? Let's see where we're at in the chat. We are at Dubai saying, I don't love the AD mezcal, but it's unique, interesting. Exactly. You don't have to love it. Like, they're doing new stuff. And the T saying, Modelo, my favourite barbecue beer. It's a lovely beer. I've got a bottle behind me and I can't reach it. It's in that wee case. So I've been eking out this one single bottle the entire stream. But it's been lovely. Lovely beer. Much better than Corona. Like, much better. But also it's made in Mexico, this stuff. I'm pretty sure. Yeah. As opposed to brewed under license here. James saying, a fellow publisher bag a lot low 10-year-old edition 9 and asked for a 22-year-old golden drams help with the site, maybe a tax exempt option. I would love to be savvy enough to be doing all the tax exempt stuff, but yeah, I'll have a look after we get off the stream. And then Rob's saying, it's interesting the two don't work for you, I get it. Yeah, that, and the other one for me is Sautern's Cask. I really struggle with Sautern's Cask. I had a terrible experience early in my whiskey journey with I'll just tell a Bourbon Sauternes. I hated it. I repulsive, hated it. And ever since, Sautern's Casks and me just don't get on. And yet people whose palate I really trust love a Sauternes, and I just can't do it. And I feel like I'm a wee bit similar. I'm similar with rum cask, too sweet. But it's also subjective. So I would never say don't to anybody. I think everybody needs to try what works for them. Shouldn't be sitting lime. You know, the authentic Mexican experience. Is it true, right? Is it true that the lime in the beer bottle came about because the Mexicans used the lime to stop the flies going in the beer? And yet it was the gringos that pushed the lime into the beer and thought it makes it taste better. Was it? Who knows? Andy T saying, yeah, Corona's made just down the road for me. I remember when it used to be imported, loved it then. Yeah, all the beer at the moment in the UK, if long-time viewers of this stream know that the beers I would have, I make a conscious effort not to have UK beer unless it's UK beer. And by that I mean, like, I love Cruz Campo in Seville. Cruz Campo in the UK, it's UK beer. Stella, Belgian Stella, unbelievable. Normal Stella, not great at all. I'm going to switch to the dram cam so I can get that other beer. Now we're talking about the beers, so please excuse me, but I will I will push this up and I'll give you old Charlie to listen to. So if anybody joins the stream at this point, they're going to be really freaked out.
Hello there. How are you?
Who wants a cortado? Gracias. Elbows.
It's like I was never gone. There we go. Oh. Right, guys. We have another 25 minutes until the end of the stream. On my notes for the stream, we've covered most things. Now, the thing was, the main core of the chat this evening was, are whiskey shows overrated? Are they not for us? I think it depends on the show that you go to. I really do. I think there's certain shows that make you feel welcome and make you feel like you are actually part of something that's quite good. Or there's certain shows that you go and you feel like it's a cash grab. You feel like you get there and you're instantly disappointed. There was one recently where it turned out okay in the end, but they don't show you who's coming until like the day before. And I don't know how I feel about that. I feel like as a customer and someone that's coming as an enthusiast and whatever, you should know who's going to be there, what's actually happening. So please let me know what's your thoughts. This was meant to be the theme of the stream, but the problem was that the stream got hijacked by just us having a great time, and I wouldn't change it, but let me know. I'm trying to highlight this. Your sound effects should change to Little Brown Dog Spirit promo video. No ice. So I'm going to say this, Lowlander, to you guys. I messaged it to JP, and I said, I think they're copying me. My direction. From a Frightened Rabbit video I made a long time ago with the guys from Frightened Rabbit. It was brilliant. Loved it.
But if I ever see you nosing it like this, I'll kill you.
Adrian's saying, I'm new to whisky festivals. I've only been to Glasgow Whisky Festival and Whisky Fringe both, which is amazing. This year and ticket for next year. Yeah, I think I did the video, self-plug, finding kind of like the right whisky festival for you. And that came out of like this thought process of, you go to different whisky festivals, they're all very different. Glasgow to me is about community. I think, and by that I mean community of just like, it's weird. It's weird. I don't know if it's Roy's Aquavita's Barfly community that makes the first session like it's such a drinker's session of whiskey drinkers, not pissheads, not obnoxious and whatever. You spend more time talking to people than having drams, and you leave happy with that, if that makes sense. Now, like, take it back a week, whiskey show, it's huge, and you're you're going about the places and you have FOMO the entire time. You talk to some people and whatever, but it's very much like little pockets of people everywhere. Whereas at Glasgow, it just feels like it's all one big group of people having a lovely time. My only gripe, which I said in the video, was Glasgow was the way Hampden is. It's a hell of a walk from one end to the other. If you could kind of fold that space into, like, if you could fold it, it's so much easier to navigate, but you can't, so you deal with it. But that was my only negative last year. Just wonderful festival. And a festival it was, it just felt like a festival. It felt like a lot of people there for the right reason, having a good time. Sorry guys, just catching up with the chat. I will say, I'm going to say at the end of the chat, because anybody, end of the stream, anybody watching this at this point, when we're at like the last 20 minutes, every year Glasgow Whisky Festival does a food bank collection, and this year I will be putting a bit of cash behind it and doing it. If you want to contribute to that, ping me on Instagram, DM, whatever. I'm not, basically you donate, you get a raffle ticket, you can win tickets for next year. It's not about that. I'm going to just give a lot of canned goods to it, because it's just the right thing to do, to be fair. But if anybody wants to contribute, let me know and we'll make sure we get it to them.
So until we meet again, Slanjiva.
What a guy. What a weird guy.
Hello.
Sorry, I'm just going through my chat, so I'm just pressing buttons at random.
Hi there.
David Owen, how are you, mate? Happy birthday. How old are you, if you don't mind me asking? Just saying no to FOMO. The last 18 months, that's been my mindset. Pete Hednogy. David Owen, happy birthday. Did you have any nice drams to celebrate? So yeah, sorry, I might have been a bit kind of all over the place with that idea. It was more a thought process. Glasgow Whisky Festival, they do a canned goods collection. There will be many of us there. If anybody wants to collaborate and put a whole load together, I am coming to the festival in a car with said goods. That's what I meant. So, more than happy to accommodate people. If you want the raffle tickets, you can have them. That's not really why I'm doing it. But I'm buzzing for it. Coming up on the Friday might change to the Thursday. It's all kind of like TBC at the moment. Coming up, we are Friday not doing Aquavitae / Roy's under the table dram tasting. I was too late on that. Gutted. It's in a place I used to work. I used to work in Sloan's in Glasgow. Would love to do that. It'll be a fantastic day. Great lineup. If you're on it, very jealous. Not going to do that, but we will be hitting East End. We're staying in East End, born and bred. We are hitting up the gate on the Friday night and then walking our way into town. So cannot wait for that. Then Saturday at the show. Still deciding on food choice. Again, because Aquavitae is such a big draw, a lot of people are going for the curry. We'll go for a curry somewhere. We'll do that. Bon Accord, of course, will be where we all end up. So at some point we'll end up there. And then on the Sunday, we're waking up early. Don't know if my mates are too keen on this, but we're waking up early. We're going to have some food. We're going to do the Tennant's Brewery tour. And then we are at the blind tasting extravaganza. Which can't wait for. And then we fly home that evening. It'll be really good. But through it all, if you're watching this and you want to catch up, say hello, Frank, Petehead that's talking, Bon Accord is always one of the places to be, but I'll be dotted about the entire weekend in the city. So please do, if you're at the show, come say hello. I'm putting all this out here now, so that if anybody wants anything from London or wants anything, just reach out, let me know and I can bring it up. But as I said, for Patreons, they'll all be getting this, but I'm really excited to come up because I've got the final touches to the Glasgow one that I need to do, which I need to be on the ground for the photos because I do it all myself. I'm going through the chat, just checking David's birthday. More than welcome, mate. And he's saying a gentleman does not tell his age. Happy 19th. Happy 19th birthday, David. Yes. His birthday was on the 10th. It was at Glen Allachie tasting with the man himself, Billy Walker, and also eating. And then James is saying, time to nose that Stagg. I think so. Aye, go on.
Hello there.
Right. Anything else on this that could maybe lay what batch this is? Nothing. Some faint sticker. Nothing. So, not a clout thing or anything like that. For anybody joining late, charity tasting this week. This will be on the palette. I don't want you to be cracking a fresh bottle. Come on, we can do better than that. There we go. If you've had a Stagg before, right? You know, but Adrian, thank you so much for joining. Good luck at the golf. Have a good night's sleep. Cheers, mate. There's so much fruitiness to it. Like, it's just... berries and fruit and grape, and it's... Shall we? Tiny bit.
Who wants a cortado? Gracias. El Barge.
can see by the colour, just dark. In my mind, like, the OSWA's nomination of this, absolutely. I just think it's the best output that Buffalo Trace do consistently. The proof point's so high, but the quality is just always there. And they used to be Stagg Junior and they changed to Stagg and whatever, but you're hard pushed to find a bad Stagg. Now keep in mind, this is Wreck the Hoose Juice. 65.5, so ridiculous. Does not drink at 65.5% at all. Lots of red berries, fruit, forward. Sorry, I need to look up. It's just great bourbon, sorry, I'm just kind of I'm dumbstruck at like neck pour of that. Yeah, that's why it's OSWA nominated. I think people this year, finally, Stags became quite easy to get a hold of in the UK in relative terms. There's been batches of it just like boom, coming out. It isn't the cheapest. It is not the cheapest, but I say this kind of through gritty teeth. It's still value at 100, 110, and I hate that for it. I hate it. But that's the only negative I can have. I just think it's unbelievable whiskey. With an E. Let me just check chat. James saying, yeah, but usually they never see it in MSRP in US. Yeah, I know, and I can see why. Entire continent that's built on this liquid, and then we can pick it up easy. No, it's fantastic. The time, I'm intrigued to see how this lands, because the proof is there, but for us, the proof's not that bad. I think this will knock their socks off, absolutely. James saying, I'm a little jealous. Is this one you've not had, James? And then Frank saying, never had a Stag myself. Frank, I'll bring something to Glasgow. We'll sort that. I'll bring the bottle. I have a check-in case, so I'm bringing up bottles. So maybe we bring that. And are you coming? Are you doing the blind tasting on the Sunday as well? If so, I can bring a bottle. I'll just bring a bottle of Stag. Should we do that? It's yeah. Wow. 65.5 is definitely now sitting in my chest. No. Good whiskey is good whiskey. Guys, we're a few minutes off, but I'm gonna call it a day right now. Going's good. Going's happy. If you can, drop a like if you have not already. Thank you so much for joining me, Saturday Night Drams. It's always a pleasure. Like, genuinely, this is one of the highlights of my whiskey YouTube content life. I appreciate you guys joining me. I know more of yous now, especially, are watching on a big TV. So any tips, anything you want to feedback, do let me know. DMs are always opened at Drinks Whiskey on Instagram. The Patreon, if you're not involved, if you want to get involved, don't feel obliged. But I fling stuff up on there all the time, video-wise. Just might not be the most edited, whatever, but try and keep it going. But I really appreciate you guys. I appreciate everybody that watches. It's always fun. Guys, until the next one, which might not be in 2 weeks, it might be 3 weeks. We're going to see about the OSWAs. But as always, thank you so much. Cheers.